Hello everyone, it's been a long time between drinks, so to speak. Today I'm working in my Mashitup journal, and I'm doing a galaxy page similar to what I've done on the front cover of the journal. If you haven't seen that, it's on social media and you can follow me. Look for missladypetal on Facebook and you'll find me. So I'm using homemade acrylic ink sprays. I've got magenta, violet, phthalo blue, and I'm also using white there. So now I'm just using one of my mop brushes just to soften some of the areas and make sure that the ink gets into the paper, because unlike a lot of my other journal pages, I haven't actually gessoed this page. And I'm thinking at this point that I really want to add some more white into the page. I'm really liking the look of it so far. I love the colours, but I'm going to play with it a little bit more, and I was going to look for my white gesso. And I'm using a fan brush, but I wouldn't recommend necessarily using a fan brush. It was just the other one that was in there, and allowed me, I couldn't be bothered looking for any others at that point, but I am going to eventually pull out another brush at some point during this process. But I could also do flicks with it, so I did that as well, and some of those bled because parts of the paper were still damp from the first lot of sprays. And I just decided that I would walk through all of this in a very kind of slow fashion with you. So you can see I'm just using a very soft sable watercolor round brush. It's about a 4, and that's just softening out the edges from where I use the fan brush to give a nicer transition for the page. As that dries, it goes a bit duller. So I initially started drawing this design in, which is based on a free downloadable tattoo design, which I really liked. I was thinking about the moon, something to do with galaxies, but I ended up rubbing out this whole design and deciding I was going to trace it with carbon paper. I thought that it would be a really good thing to show some of you who don't draw. I mean, I could definitely draw this in myself if I wanted to, using it as a reference and change it. But for convenience, and because I like to give you guys pages that you could emulate or copy if you like, I decided that I would show you that I'm just going to transfer it and trace it with carbon paper. You could use graphite paper as well. And this makes these kinds of pages a lot more accessible for those of you who can't draw. Those of you that can, definitely have a go at this one, although this is on an A5 page and it, you know, is a bit smaller. And one of the reasons why I don't mind drawing this in is because it is so small, and generally when I do my life drawing and I do my portraits, they're a little bit bigger than this, and I'm just looking to go the basic kind of a technique in this, and you can see that I've got that whole design in there lightly now. I love my Prisma pencils for this kind of work. They work exceptionally well, but you can see that I'm working over very pitted paper. The sprays just look that little bit dull because I haven't got any gesso on the page, and I think if I was going to do another one of these I would probably put gesso on the page first, although gesso does dull sprays as well. But you can see this is quite pitted, you know, like I have to press quite hard with that pencil to get that whiter and press the divots down. It's like a rough watercolor consistency. So now I'm using a Davenport Epic pen. That Epic pen is very fine. It's got water fast and light fast graphite ink in the cartridge, and it just allows me to do a lot of lovely fine work and put all the details in, and I don't have to worry so much about my pen skipping over the rough groove of the paper, because this fine pen literally cuts through all of them really, really well. And I find that for for smooth papers and also for rough papers, this pen works very, very well. Oh, it's been so hot in here in Australia at the moment. Today I've had to put my air conditioning on in the middle of the day because it's just gotten so hot. Great day for doing lots of washing though, and a really good day for getting this work to actually dry quickly. I've kind of gone away a little bit from using a heat gun on my work because it doesn't set all the layers. It tends to dry layers just on the top, whereas if I pop this outside, then it kind of cooks all the way through. And I say cook in the right sense of the word because in winter, in summer in Australia, it's pretty hot in Brisbane. And I love the way that this pen's putting those details in. I'm just putting the veins of the wings in now, which I enjoyed doing. They differed a lot from the drawing, the way I did the wings. I kind of made them a little bit my own in their design. And now I'm just going further around the moon, and I'm just going to outline the moon as well. Do her face in a little bit more. I think you can tell it's a she in the moon. It's not always the easiest thing to do is to get that really nice outline going. Just enough that you can define the features. And these are Jane Davenport's paint over pens. I wanted to give them a go. They're the only thing in her range that I actually have at the moment, and they work quite well. I'm very happy with it. I think I missed a bit. I might have missed the back of her foot. So now I'm using the white just to highlight that. It means I don't have to use paint on such a small surface, so it works quite well for me there. And I decided I was going to do her wings in pink and teal, also with Jane's paint over pens. And then figuring out how I was going to get them to work together. I think they look quite nice. And I'm thinking about what will I do with a dress. And I've decided at this point that I'm going to leave it as the galaxy. I think it's pretty cool. So I'm working in a metallic purple gel pen here. It actually looks better on the video than it did when I was doing it under the light. And I've got a fluoro, it's like a highlighter pen that I bought for uni, but it's a fluoro pink, and it actually darkens on top of the ink, and it makes me able to define the sections in the wing a little bit better without necessarily having to go over it with the Epic pen again. And the rollerball just moves over the paper pretty easily in the divots made by the Epic pen. And I decided I would go around the teal with the purple and then do all the filaments, overlay the Epic pen with the purple as well, just to have some kind of continuity. And I forgot that at the back there, I'll get to it a little bit later, at the back there is the bottom part of the wing. I forgot her ear, so I've got to put the detail of her ear in, and her fingers. I'm working on her shoes. She's wearing like a little ballet slippers. So I decided I would just put spots down some of the pink and the magenta. This comes in a set. That's the colour Starfish, and the flesh tone is called Beach, and of course the white is Unicorn, and the teal is Mermaid that I'm working there. So I'm just working on this bottom part of the wings now that I forgot earlier. They should marry up with the top. And I like how she's turning out so far. Just enough for me to kind of have the point there. It is, like I said, it's a small page. I need to go in and do some of these extra shadows. I'm going to go in and make the moon a little bit whiter again. I do a lot of little fine details here. So the white of her dress, the white marks on her dress where the moonlight's hitting those folds, I'm going to whiten them later. Now I'm writing in my quote. So the quote is, "Never let a stumble in the road be the end of the journey." And I spend a little bit of time doing that. I don't rule these out. If they're a little bit, you know, if they're a little bit different, then, or not completely straight, then I don't mind. But I didn't have a really big space to work in, so I was pretty sure that mine were pretty good. I've just got some features in here, so I'm just going down and putting some white, some additional white parts of the dress where the moonlight is, and now I'm going to blur that signo in before it dries with the pencil, so it's like I'm blurring it, but I'm doing it in a very targeted way. And I want to just make those white words really quite stand out, so I'm just putting shadows in so that they will be completely defined. You don't have to do this, but when you've got a pen as lovely as this Epic pen and as fine, then it makes it easier to do this kind of work. I probably, if I was to do this again, I wouldn't outline road like that. I'd probably leave it alone, but you know, I've done it in other ones and really liked it, but I think that was just probably that little bit too small, the writing. Yeah. So we're getting to the end of this page. I've done a few other pages, but I haven't filmed them lately because I've been teaching so much in person. Anyway, ciao for now. Thank you so much for being with me again this time around, and I hope you enjoy the video.